games really aren't what they used to be. And I get that that's a real easy thing to say, and it sounds very pretentious. It sounds very, I don't know, I'm old, which I am, but they really aren't. You can't really play a game, or you can't even hear about a game anymore without someone somewhere spoiling something, and then everybody just knows what it is. I mean, the internet's great, but it really has stolen what I think is one of the coolest things about video games, and that's discovery. Discovering something new through your own means, or through hearing about it from someone else who also did the same thing. I can't describe how many times I've ultimately been disappointed by data miners. I'm sure they have a reason for what they do that isn't just fake internet points online, but people who dig up spoilers, people who leak things, it's really a disservice to the games. Even if a game was ultimately bad and I ultimately wouldn't like it, I would rather come to that conclusion on my own terms. Someone spoiling the entire contents of a book is just going to make me not want to bother getting the book unless the book itself has personal value to me. Case in point, probably, would be, in recent memory that I could think of, would be Pokemon and Smash Brothers. Smash Brothers used to be really cool. I still remember whenever I was playing Smash Brothers for the first time and I had all these characters and I would win, and then a challenger approaches and you fought something new. But then the next time you did that, it wouldn't happen. So, as a player, it made you think, what do I have to do to make this happen? How many of these are there? It was really, really cool. And it was special. Me and my friends, we each had our own copy of the game, and we played that. We played it a lot, and it was only through word of mouth that you found out who all was available in Smash Brothers and how to get them. Back whenever strategy guides still existed. I miss those. Strategy guides were cool. Like, proper strategy guides. The ones that you would buy with a game that could tell you everything if you wanted to. If you wanted to get the book and you were stuck on one point, you could look through the book. The biggest difference between then and now is now everything's just plastered online. Everybody knows every single thing because it's right up there on the forefront. With a strategy book, though, you had to kind of look it up. It was of your own accord. Now you can't go 5 steps without someone spoiling something. And in Pokemon, I believe it was either Sun and Moon or Ultra Sun and Moon, someone hacked the game. Released everything that was in it. Spoiled the whole thing. And I've been doing it before then, but prior to that, I'd always had a very harsh view on spoilers. And after that point, if it was something that I wanted to hear about, I just went radio silence. I wouldn't look at anything. Because someone's going to spoil it. Someone's going to hack into the game. Someone's going to rush through the game and show the ending of the game in all of 24 hours, if even that, of playing the game, posted on YouTube, 1,000 random Polygon Game Informer sites, just to get a few moments of internet credibility. And honestly, that's pathetic. It's not that I don't want people to not share their accomplishments, but that's not an accomplishment. That's you rushing through the game to literally be the first person to beat the game and show everybody what you found and literally ruin the end of Star Wars. To use a very pertinent example. I remember whenever, what was it? The Force Awakens? It was part 7, whichever one, I don't care. Whenever part 7 was released, people were up in arms about spoilers. Someone went to a theater. If I could find the story, I'll put it up. Someone went to a theater, saw Star Wars, first showing. As soon as they leave, they shout the ending out to the waiting masses. And if I recall correctly, the guy got jumped by angry fans, and they beat the guy. And a lot of people were cheering it on. I don't condone that in any regard. It's a douchebag thing to do, for sure. But why? Why would you do something like that if not to just be a douchebag? Why would you do something like that and literally ruin the fun and the happiness of others? That's kind of how I see data miners. It's how I see people who go in, break the game's code to find out something, and then just start spamming it online. Games aren't built like they used to. There's no way to hide anything. There's no way to keep something hidden and to entice someone to go and find it. Whenever, I think I was like 13 years old, long time ago, Paper Mario came out. And this was before I had access to internet, if the internet was even around, I don't even remember. But Paper Mario, I had been renting Paper Mario from a movie gallery, which is sort of a knockoff of Blockbuster. I don't know if they were across the US or not. But there was a movie gallery in town that we would rent games from for a week. It wasn't very much. Well, by all accounts, it was kind of a bit. I think it was like maybe $10 a week. Something like that. And I played the mess out of that game. I played that game so much that my dad ended up buying it for me because I had rented it so many weeks, it would have already been bought. I love that game. Still do. It's one of my favorite 64 games and easily one of my favorite games of all time. Whenever I got to, I believe, might have been chapter 3 or chapter 4, I forget exactly which one, but it was whenever you gotta find, it's whenever the Shy Guys invade town and they're causing havoc. And I couldn't figure out what to do. I hit a wall, I didn't know how to progress the story. So I started exploring. I started going around and pushing every button I could find, flipping every switch, beating every enemy. I got several levels ahead just because I was beating enemies and just doing stuff. I found faster ways to move throughout the levels. I found a few secrets that I had missed before, a few hidden blocks that I didn't know were there. And ultimately, I just spent some time trying to figure out, what do I do? And a friend of mine, and this is before the internet again, people didn't have forums, or if they did have forums, I didn't have access to them. I didn't know what to do. I didn't have no one to ask. But my friend had also been playing the game. He's like, hey, where are you right now in the game? I told him, I'm like trying to deal with the Shy Guys. He's like, oh, you gotta go to that one place and you gotta hide in the corner. You gotta go invisible where the Shy Guy doesn't see you. And then it'll go from there. And I hadn't thought of that. it never even clicked. So I went in, I did that, and the next leg of the journey was open to me. And that feeling of discovery, that feeling of trying my best to figure something out, and then someone else getting me the information, not all the information, not telling me outright what to do, but pointing me in the right direction, because that was what he had found. That is what he had figured out. I haven't had that feeling in games for years. I played that game, I started over immediately after finishing it, and I played it again. And I played it faster, I played it better. I knew what to and what not to do. I found new stuff the second time around. Paper Mario stands in my mind because it is not only a good game, but because of what it was able to invoke in me. It was able to get me to explore.